Hey everybody, it's Strict9 with Strict9 GP, and I'm back with another episode of my Out of the Park 22 playthrough with the San Francisco Giants. We are just starting the free agency period and went through all the playoffs and the awards. I'll give a recap of those. If you followed along, this team, I went into the 2022 season, put a lot of money into free agents, namely pitchers, and they just kind of disappointed me, and I pulled the trigger probably quicker than I should have because I've left us in a bad spot. I realized that. I got some good feedback from some of you guys, and it was, it's one of my weaknesses. I'm really conservative when it comes to those free agent contracts, and when I spend a lot of money, I get really worried as soon as I see some ratings start to drop and things like that. So I just like exploded on the team and got rid of some good players. And so now we're stuck again rebuilding this team. And I'm fine with that in a way because it kind of puts me back into a little bit of my comfort zone, because I think we got some young players coming up that I want to try next year. I want to, build on some of the young players that are already on the team, like Joey Bart, for instance, Miyazaki at center, and just, and kind of see if we can get competitive next year. We finished out the year disappointing, 72-90. Just could not get anything going. Pitching was good, but as one of my viewers pointed out, San Francisco's a pretty good pitching park. It was just the offense was, just bottom half, in some cases bottom here in the home runs in some of the categories. And I want to basically improve that next year and hopefully get us to be competitive. That's the big goal. Looking at the owner goals, we're still in that stage of don't suck completely. So we've got a little bit of room to keep, disappointing, I guess. But personally, I want to turn it around quicker than that. But let's go ahead and take a look at the history of the league and show you just kind of briefly what happened this season. Playoffs wise, it was Houston St. Louis in the World Series. Houston wins 4-2. I think it was Arizona was kind of a surprise to me that they made it in out of that West. When you've got San Diego, I expected them to be competitive a little bit this year. And Atlanta's really settling in to be a good team, but St. Louis kind of came out of nowhere to me and managed to get through the playoffs, even though they didn't have a great record. They're always competitive, though. They're just such a good franchise. In the American League, the Angels having the best record. I thought they might have a chance this year, but they couldn't pull it off. Individually, some numbers to point out. Sano at Minnesota, 53 home runs. Second year in a row, he's led the league in home runs in this playthrough. Michael Brantley went to L.A., and he's still hitting. Houston traded him away mid-season, and he had a good season overall. Almost 5 wins above replacement. Led the league in hitting, 23 home runs, 89 RBIs. Good season from him. Bieber, almost Triple Crown. 9 strikeouts away from the Triple Crown. And in the National League, it was Acuna Jr. having just a great year. And spoiler alert, he was the MVP. But if I look at some of the other winners for the year, start out down here with the reliever. You got Chapman, unanimous pick in the American League. He had another dominating year, and he's a free agent. I'm tempted. He's usually kind of like one of those gun for hire situations with him. He's still a 5-star, dominating fastball and slider. I think you do take a little bit of a hit, though, with his personality ratings, and he's getting up there in age. I don't know how long his ratings are going to work in this game. In the National League, went to Devin Williams of the Brewers, who was the Rookie of the Year in 2020 in real life, but he had a solid year in this playthrough. Let me take a look at the National League Gold Gloves. Yeah, it was Atlanta, Mets, those teams kind of dominated there. Silver Sluggers in the National League. Realmuto, catcher, Phillies had a good year. A few Braves, no Giants there. Rookies of the Year, Blake Rutherford, almost unanimous in the American League. Solid year for him. And then Rutschman, first full year for him in this playthrough. He looked really good. I mean, he's one of those guys who, in a few playthroughs, I've noticed he puts together a really good career. And then Miyazaki won really the only positive we had. Miyazaki won Rookie of the Year unanimously in the National League. Manager of the Year, Houston, Minkiewicz, Snicker, for the Braves, I think. Yeah, for the Braves. Cy Young went to Bieber. A unanimous decision there. And again, the guy's dominating. He's won it 3 years in a row, if you count the 2 years in this playthrough. Led wins above replacement 2 years in a row. Giolito was second. Garrett Cole had a really decent year and has looked good in this playthrough for the most part. And then Castillo from Cincinnati got it in the National League, is a little bit more competitive. Darvish with the Padres, solid year from him, stayed healthy. Really kind of 2 seasons in a row in this playthrough that he's been pretty healthy. Jacob deGrom got a vote there. He's also a free agent, but man, his demands are high. And then Players of the Year or MVP, Tim Anderson for Chicago. Really good offensive year for him. A lot of strikeouts, not many walks, but he puts together pretty good numbers overall. And then Kyle Tucker and Sano, top 3. Acuna and Albies, another good guy for Atlanta. Back-to-back 8+ wins above replacement seasons for him in this playthrough. He was the MVP in 2021. So Atlanta, man, they've got it set. And then if you look at the contracts here, he's signed through 2028 with a team option. Albies signed through 2027 with what a great contract, $7 million a year with a team option. They got Austin Riley down here, just a 2.5-star player, but his power is so good. I mean, 45 home runs this year, pretty decent third baseman. I can see Atlanta really being tough for a while. And then we went through arbitration. We kept Amir Garrett. I like having that lefty reliever. I mean, he took over a closer once we picked him up mid-season. I don't expect him to be closer next year, but I do think he gives us a good arm out of the bullpen. And then the rest, Dubon, Webb, who I'm still hoping, and Sheffield, I'm still hoping they have a chance to develop on this team. I mean, Webb especially. This guy's 3-star. I mean, he's the kind of guy I think you could really get good success from, maybe in that 4th spot in the rotation. But now here we are at free agency and needing pitching help badly. So let's take a look at the team. And first off, the pitching staff. Yeah, this is my problem. I gutted the team. I know I did. I think Elledge is a person. If I don't pick up another closer in free agency or somewhere else in the offseason, he's a guy I'm probably going to put in the closer role. He wants to be a starter, and I even tried him at starter a little bit last year. And 6 games, man, he looked good. It's just he's not going to get enough innings, game to game. And I don't think we have the bullpen to throw him out there like that, and get maybe 4 or 5 good innings from him on average. I still feel like Sheffield, who 11 wins, I still think there's some upside to him. He's a 3-star pitcher if you look at OSA's ratings of him. I mean, these guys are serviceable. And then May, who we picked up in a trade, 3.5 stars. He looked really good for us down the stretch, had a good season. I think those 3 guys could be okay in the rotation. Webb, Sheffield, May, Schmidt, a guy I picked up. Not 100% sure how he's going to look. But, 4 solid pitches, decent stamina. Take a look at him in spring training. He might compete for a spot in the rotation. Beck. My first season in this playthrough, I thought he might have had a chance, but he got injured a little bit, and just, I think he was the one who got injured. No, not him, sorry. But he just never really looked good when I brought him up. And you can look at what he did in 2021 in Sacramento. Sacramento's terrible year. So he's not really in the mix for me. The bullpen, Scherf, had a great year numbers-wise. I brought him back because he hasn't made it to arbitration yet. I don't expect him to duplicate what he did last year, so I really want to get some guys in there. Wilson, a lefty arm, and get another one of those that's signed through next year. I'm going to hopefully get enough from him to put him out there. But, pitching outside of Elledge, in that bullpen, it's really spotty. And on the lineup side, I'm going to give Devers a chance. I think he really struggled coming over. I don't think those numbers are going to stay, next year. I think he's going to be able to do better than that. But the thing about Devers, and I'll show you when we'll look at some prospects, we do have, I would say our top prospect offensively is a third baseman, and he's a year or two away. And so, Devers with his contract, if he performs the way he started out performing, yeah, that's pretty good for a top-tier player, $21 million. But I don't know if he's going to hold that. And then was really disappointed in what he did last year. Merrifield's serviceable at second. He's one more year on his contract, so I'll leave him out there. Miyazaki at center, Bart at catcher. But the rest, it's really up in the air. I think, Simmons, I think I will keep Simmons going. He had some injury problems, but he did, I thought, look good offensively for the most part. And then, of course, you know what you get with him defensively. Zone rating 17. What was it? You look at the games he played and 335 assists. I mean, give him a full season, he's going to be close to 500, top 400 or high 400s. And I don't know, I think he's still one of the best defensive shortstops in the game. Signed for a couple more years. I think he's okay. But first thing I want to focus on is definitely pitching. But if I take a look at what we have coming up in the minors, and I've gone through and adjusted all my minors. I've called up the guys who I thought needed to be called up. And a lot of times what I do to get to that determination is I'll take a player, and look at what league he's in. Like this guy's in Richmond, AA right now. And I look at his ratings relative to the league that he's in, which in this case is going to be AA Northeast, I think, and the league above. And so you see he's still a 1.5 star player really in both leagues. But I take a guy like Abram, who's come out of nowhere. He was a 21st round pick the first season in the draft for me. This guy's already at 2 stars, potential to 3.5. He has 5 pitches that have the potential to grade out above average, and he's still working on that changeup. But great movement too. This guy, if you look at his minor league experience, it's not that great, but if I look at his ratings to AAA, he's already a 2.5 star player, 5 star potential. I'm going to see if I can push him a little quicker than usual, and see if he has a good season at AAA, he might be worth a call up soon. But that is one of the things that this new version has kind of some of the posts I've seen, and really some of the experiences I've had with the previous, some other playthroughs I've got going. Going with the default settings, these players are developing really quick, usually. You'll have guys that are in the majors, in some cases, first year they're drafted, especially those first rounders. This guy, though, don't know what his story is to get from where he started out, but it's worth looking at, in your leagues. I think there's a new patch that's going to address that, but I'm just going with the default settings on some of that player development. But I think that's what's happening a little bit. Some guys are developing quicker than they should be. Ryan Webb, I'm noticing too. He's one of my early draft picks from 2021. He's a ways away, but right now he's a 1.5 star player based on the, rated to the majors. I've got him at AA right now, but where, if I look at him in AA Northeast, he's a 2-star player with 5 potential. But I think, having a solid season like he did in low A, I'm going to see if he can develop pretty quick too. But the thing about what I've got going in the minors, 2 key players for me who I think may have a chance to contribute to this team next year. Well, Luciano, potentially, if, give him a good spring and see what he does. I mean, this guy has put up some great numbers in the minors so far. I would think he's probably a year away from developing, but you never know. I'm going to give him a chance. But also, I'm interested to see if maybe Hunter Bishop is another one. He's, I think, a former first-round pick for this team. Yeah, first round in the 2019 draft out of Arizona State. He has probably been, in real life, one of those players who shows up on a lot of the top prospects list. But I've noticed, in this game, he really performs has performed in the minors. Look at what he did at Eugene in 2021. Just incredible numbers. And then, he came back in 2022, looked solid in AA. I called him up to AAA late in the season. He looked good there. I mean, I'm hesitant to say that this guy's ready. I mean, his contact is pretty low, but his power is still good. He's already a good defender in left. So I'm thinking, good speed as well. I mean, he's a complete package if you take away his contact and avoiding Ks. I think, at least for a while, he's probably going to struggle to hit for high average once I call him up to the majors. But I do think there's some upside to him. And if nothing else, he might fit into a platoon situation. I mean, a 45 contact, slightly around, well, I'd say it's probably around average the way the numbers play out here that I've noticed in the game, but way above average in gap, power, and eye. So both sides of the plate too. So I think he's got some potential to at least get a look in the spring and maybe even win the starting job. Hernandez in left. He doesn't have really good personality ratings. He's another one who gives you some good power and decent speed, defense, but it hasn't really translated much into the short call up there into the majors. But let's take a look at what's available. First off, free agents. We'll look at the pitchers first, and right away I mentioned Chapman and DeGrom. Diaz is another one who obviously could be a big upgrade for me at closer, but the thing about him is I don't want to pay him $17 million. I just think that's a little bit high for a closer. Yeah, I don't want to go quite that high for him. And of course Chapman's going to be the same way. 14.5. Yeah, it's kind of high on the front end. But I'm just going to try to see if I can piece together, like Ryan Presley, for instance. Man, I guess he was reliever of the year in 2021. He's won 14.5. Only 4 years. He's solid lefty and righty. My scout and OSA both think he's a really good reliever. I just don't know if I want to go 14.5 for 4 years. But let me see what else is up there. Zach Britton, another good lefty option, but I think I'll probably go with what I got for now. But Trinan is a guy that I really like. I think he can probably be a pretty decent setup guy. If you can get him for maybe a year or two, and let me see what I can offer him. Let me see if I can get him for we'll start out at 5.5 for 2 years and see what he thinks. He's still wanting. Let me see if I go 6. For 2 years and see if that gets him interested. And it's a decent offer. We'll see. I think with his age, I don't want to go too much longer than 2 years, but I think he could really help us out. Matt Whistler, who was really one of the more dependable setup guys we had the 2 seasons I've been in this playthrough. I just don't think he is $8 million. That it's one of the reasons I didn't re-sign him. And you look at his career. I mean, what he did with us. By far the 2 best seasons he's had. If I offered him a contract, I'll revisit him. I think he'll probably be picked up pretty quick though. Kirby Yates, 35. He is another right-hander. Really good against righties. I like the fact that he's got those 3 strong pitches. His movement's not that great. Home runs per 9 is above 2. I mean, that's a little bit on the high side, I think, but in terms of what he's done in the majors, he had that great year in 2019. Not the same pitcher. He may have been hurt. I don't know if it's going to tell me if he was hurt here in 2020, but he was out. Yeah, he was out for a long time. Tommy John surgery. He will go with a 1-year contract, though. I probably want to revisit him. Let me see what else we got available. Miguel Castro, another good bullpen guy there. Has a lot of pitches. Still young, 27, 28 years old. I kind of like his makeup, to be honest. Let me see how he goes. He's good against righties, decent against lefties. Control, not the greatest, but probably serviceable. What is that? Ooh, 3, almost 4 walks an inning, or per 9. I mean, I guess, would I go with Presley over him? Presley I would definitely go with over Castro. Presley, I think, might make it as a closer. Let me see what I got here. Let's see if I can get... I'm just going to lowball him. Well, not $1 million. Let me see if he'll go 2 years with a player option. Nah, he's still going with that 14. So 11.5 for 3 years. Let me see if that would get him interested with a player option. He'll go with that. So, I wouldn't mind throwing him out there as a closer. I mean, he's had really 2 good back-to-back years as a closer for Houston. And so now I think we need to start looking at starters. Chris Sale is out there. I just really want to stay away from him for obvious reasons. I mean, when he's on, he's really good, but those injuries just really scare me off. And then we got Barios. Really a good value starter. He's got 3 decent pitches. The sinker and changeup, though, not that dominant for a starter. If I look at his expanded, his FIP's pretty high. He's had some good seasons in Minnesota, and I do like the fact that, he's given, you take away 2020, he's had 4 straight seasons here, 30-plus starts. So, getting that guy for $1.5 million, boy, that would be pretty good. Kevin Kosman is still available. Traded him away my first year. I just didn't see much upside to him, and he really struggled last season between Pittsburgh and the Dodgers. The Dodgers put him in the bullpen. Corey Kluber, fragile, but he's coming off a really decent year, and he's wanting that high dollar contract still. Jordan Montgomery, Charlie Morton. Jordan Montgomery is a lefty. Yeah, I don't think he has the ratings to really go as a starter in this game. So now we're kind of getting down to the 2.5-star guys, and DeGrom. Now, last season, you guys would probably kill me if I were to sign DeGrom after the way I treated Bauer last year. The thing about DeGrom is he's getting up there in age, and he's wanting a 5-6 year contract. I just don't want to pull the trigger on that. And the game has him, still performing really well the last 2 seasons, just not the dominant pitcher he was, say, from 2018 through 2020, but I just don't want to go for that one yet. But, this is a weak pickup, but I think I will try Barios here. Just, to give us some depth. I'm fine with that. And then Kluber, I know I'm not going to go with. Montgomery, not going to go with him. Clevenger. He's 32. Ratings decent. He's got 4 strong pitches. Is he really one of those guys who's kind of getting to where he's, he's, I think one of the things they say in the scouting report, he's a toss-up starter. They're, my scout has him as a mid. They both have him as a mid-league or mid-rotation starter. I may go ahead and offer him just to have somebody out there. He's probably 2 years at 7.5. I'm fine with that. I probably could have even come down, but I want to at least get a full rotation out of free agency. Now, in the transactions, free agents, let's look at batters. I think that looking back at what I've got, I am willing to try some youth experiences, experiments next year. But I'm really, I'm stuck with, I think I'm stuck with him. Freddie Freeman, at least, he's probably going to be in a platoon situation. I wouldn't mind having, just some good infield depth there. I don't think I have anybody who I could call up outside of, Luciano, who needs to really be starting if I call him up. Logan Wyatt, first base. He's coming off a decent year at Richmond. I want to give some of these young guys a chance, to be honest. Canario, who I've watched develop through the system since I took over this team. He had a really good overall season last year as well. I don't like his contact, but he's got good power and he's a decent defender. So let's see what we've got when it comes to batters. You got Abreu at first, and Muncy. Trey Mancini back out there. He gave us a really good year last year, but now he's wanting $20+ million, and he's probably wanting a long-term contract as well. I don't think I can get what he gave us year to year. So let me look at infielders, just see if I can find maybe a backup, somebody who could come in and, Flores again. Flores was the starter for most of that first season I was with this team. Ops Plus is still above average, but I'm guessing he's going to want to be the starter. Yeah. Jonathan Scoop wants to be in that starting lineup as well and only plays second. I'm looking for, somebody who can play all infield positions. Look at this from Enrique Hernandez, $12+ million he's wanting. He did have a pretty good run here with Boston. 2+ wins above replacement. He's very valuable as a utility player. I just don't know if he's somebody I would start full time, but he did pretty well for them. We got Segura Solano, who was with us my first year. I like this guy as a backup, to be honest. But, man, OSA doesn't. The only thing is, he doesn't have power and he doesn't have speed. So let me see what else is out here. Pat Valleca. He wants to be in the starting lineup. And I'm just not seeing anybody who really shed long. He's okay being a bench player, but Josh Harrison. I feel like I've got guys in the minors who could call up and look as good as these guys. Now on the outfield, you got Brantley, who's coming off a great season, but injury prone and 35. He's not going to be that productive. Same with Kane. Decent season from him in Milwaukee, but he's probably not going to hold that value for much longer. Yeah, crazy as it seems, I really want to give some of those young guys a chance. And I'm not seeing anything here. I could go with Dickerson again. Was Dickerson with us? No, I'm thinking Philadelphia. Sorry, I think he was a guy I picked up in a previous playthrough. He's not a bad platoon situation to have out there left. So what's Hunter Bishop? He is also, I think, a lefty. Yeah, I mean, I need a righty bat. Let me look at outfielders who bat from the right side. See what we got down there. Good, good all-around utility type outfielder. I mean, I guess I could filter them out, but let me just see what we got here. So you got Kane, Cespedes, who's 37, Nelson Cruz, who's 42. Daza. Just looking for. I mean, Avisel Garcia. He can play center and right. He wants to be in the starting lineup. Man, I like his bat from the left side, or from the right side. I could see him working into a platoon situation there pretty easily. Mitch Haniger, just really a right fielder. JD Martinez still out there. Will Myers still out there, and he's going to want to start. Man, I didn't know his personality was that way. Tommy Pham, fragile, and his defense is not that great. Yasiel Puig, Soler, Suzuki, Michael Taylor. I'm really liking Garcia there, and see if I can pick him up as a good bat to have in a platoon situation, and give, if I do bring up Hunter Bishop, I might even see if I can put him in left field and get him some starts there in spring. But let's see what kind of contract he'll take. 1 year, 2.2. I'll go with that. And I want to advance and just see if we get any feedback on some of these contract offers. We got a proposal here from Houston. They want Vince Fernandez, who I wouldn't mind trading. But it's like this guy, he kind of fits the bill in some ways. He can play the corner outfield really good speed. He's just going to be a bench player. But yeah, let's see if Garcia bites first. I'll leave that one out there. And we got some more. Whoa, here's a big trade. Is this? No, sorry. Thought that was bomb. Gallo signs for, a huge amount of money. Can't believe that. He's coming off, that average, man. It's sub 200. Abreu signs with the Red Sox. Sale goes with the Angels. Presley, he still likes her offer. DeGrom goes to Atlanta. $142 million. So 35.5 for, they got him for about what they wanted. And we got another trade proposal. They're wanting Justin Wilson. Are these decent prospects? Sterling Hayes could play several positions there in the infield, but man, I don't see much upside to these guys. Wilson, I think I may need him this year. I mean, he's got just one more year on his contract. It's not that bad. I'm going to stay. And Jansen's re-signs with the Dodgers. Kind of interesting. I want to get to the winter meeting, see what kind of trade. Wow, that kind of stunned me a minute there. 4 years, $65 million for Gossman. Yeah. But I want to see what kind of trade offers might be out there. What players are on the trading block? Garcia likes my offer. Trinan likes mine. Clevenger, he wants more money. Barios, you know. Now, Clevenger is getting that money, I think, because those big pitchers are off the table now. If we go to free agency and look at starting pitchers, that's, you know, he's one of the guys left. So he's wanting 78 for 5 years. Let's see if he'll do 3 years. Man. I don't necessarily want to do this because, you know. All right, so he'll do 3 years. I think he's going to be tough to lock up now because of the just a pretty rough year for starting pitchers in free agency. Take a look at the trading block, though. Aaron Nola's out there. Wheeler's out there. Wheeler, you know, you got a big contract with him for a couple seasons. Nola out for 6 weeks, but man, I always like Aaron Nola. His contract, you know, just one more season. Is he worth picking up for 1 year? He would really help our rotation, I think. Hopefully it's not a terrible injury. 6 weeks left, so he went down in August. And maybe went down again. He hadn't pitched since June. I mean, that'd be kind of a gamble, but, you know, I do have the money available. Man, look at Jose De Leon. I mean, this is a guy who control is an issue, but if he could somehow work that out. Let's see what Nola would do. And he's longer. I've got that setting to where you can't trade for him. Dang. I may have to look at that. I don't know if I want to remove that setting. I have it on there because I've noticed that the AI will make trades all over the place. You know, not with you necessarily, but among the rest of the league. You'll see a lot of trades where you've got guys who are 9 months, you know, on the IL for 9 months, and they're trading them. And so I usually keep that setting where you cannot trade injured players just to keep that from going on. So I won't even be able to pick him up for a few more weeks. So I'll have to revisit that. Otherwise, you know, Jose De Leon looks good, but I'm not really wanting to trade. Gosh, it would just depend on what I could get for the guy, or what I'd have to give up. He's another guy who could go middle of the rotation. I mean, he definitely gives you the Ks, doesn't he? Look at that, 11.2. And I don't, that control really doesn't scare me all that much. I thought he was a lefty. He's a righty. That control is manageable, I think, for the most part. I've seen guys with 40, control of 40, stay around the 70, 80 walk mark for a full season. His stamina is not that great, but you might could put this guy in the bullpen if you needed to. And what would I have to give up for him? I'd have to probably give up some prospects, it looks like. Just don't think I want to give them up for him. Let's take a look at what else is on in terms of all batters. Anything that can help me there. Tommy Lestella. his contract is too upside down for me. Winker, he is not really looking good in this playthrough here. Sub 250 batting average. He gets the walks, which is good, but that's kind of a surprise to see him way down there. His defense is not that great. Yandy Diaz. Hey, Brandon Crawford, who's coming off a pretty poor season in Miami. Miami took a gamble on him after that decent year he had for us in San Francisco. And I'm just not seeing much out there. I think I need more righty bats, and I'm just not seeing them. So let's just go through and see if I get any offers. Now we got Barios. That doesn't surprise me too much. What's he going to give us? Don't know. I mean, he's in the running probably for a rotation spot. But let's go ahead, and what I'll do is I will finish up offline and get to spring training. Right, maybe go through spring training. But I'm probably going to see if I can pick up Nola. I mean, that's where I'm looking right now, just to have him for 1 year to kind of get this rotation through a rough patch. And then I want to try some rookies next year. That's what my goal is to get some of those young players to develop. And we'll go from there. But as always, thanks for watching. Appreciate the support, and I will see you next episode.